All right, welcome everyone to August R&R session. While folks join us, I'll just go ahead and introduce myself and explain how I run this monthly half-hour rest and relaxation session. So my name is Shelly Maxwell. I'm a clinical social worker here with Ascension, Wisconsin EAP program. I've been with the program for 9 years, and we've been doing these R&R sessions since COVID, so about 1.5 years now. And it's a real joy to be able to come up with this practice for you all each month and get my wheels turning and share whatever has been inspiring me and having the opportunity to share it with you all. And we do meet at this time, the first Wednesday of every month at noon. And you're welcome to join us anytime. It's the same link, it's the same passcode. So you can always set it up as a recurring appointment. And I'm joined today by my colleague, Jen. She assists with the chat. She assists with any technical issues, as well as recording our sessions. And you can find previously recorded sessions on our YouTube channel, along with all the presentations that we do for our lunch and learns. So the YouTube channel is a fantastic resource, as well as our website. And as a reminder, if you are joining in today, you have us as your EAP provider, which means your employer pays for counseling for you, for any spouse or domestic partner, any dependent, so any direct family member under your roof. We work within a short-term solution-focused model, so typically up to 8 sessions, depending on what the situation is. Sometimes people come in for assessment referral, and we assist with that. And but I've got colleagues around the state. I'm here in Oshkosh. So a little bit of today that I'll be sharing with you all is about some things that I was able to experience last week. Some of you might know that Oshkosh is famous for EAA, the Experimental Aircraft Association, their big thing. And like me and thousands of other Oshkosh families, we rent our house and get out of town. We love EAA. We love the people who come. I love my renters. They've rented from me from a long time, but we escape up north. And so last week I had quite a bit of opportunity to spend on and in the water. I've accumulated now kayaks, a paddleboard, sailboats. If I'm not doing those things, I'm floating in the lake. And even when I'm here in Oshkosh with all the water around us, I'm frequently by the river, the Fox River and Lake Winnebago. And so I've been thinking a lot about the qualities of water and how it relates to us. And there's so many beautiful metaphors that we can connect to with water. And so one of the risks I took was hoping that you all have good relationship with water, a decent one, that it's not something that's really upsetting for you. So I want to think really broadly about water, right? So for you personally, when you think about water, what qualities do you enjoy about it? Okay, so take a moment here as you sink into your chair, get yourself, even see if you can make yourself even a little bit more comfortable. And as you feel the sense of safety and security in your space right now, your bubble, maybe close your eyes and reflect a little bit about positive experiences you've had with water, whether that was a shower or a bath recently, drinking water, cooking with water, or if it's been swimming or floating or sailing or kayaking, any paddling, right? Maybe just listening to the water. You may have had the opportunity to go to the ocean or to Lake Michigan or one of the Great Lakes recently? And as you connect with those positive experiences that you have with water, I'd like you to think about flow. Okay. So water teaches us about fluidity, about ways to move through change, and how to go through the flow. So this image reminded me a lot of when I used to mountaineer in the Adirondacks in college. I grew up out east, went to school out east, and there was a couple of times I had to lead canoe patrols. And so that might be going in a big lake, and then all of a sudden we're in a river, and then that river, you get to the riverbed, and then you're dragging the canoe or trying to carry the canoe or kayak over the rocks. There was times when I'd be paddling either up north or in the Adirondacks where, because of our itinerary, we were having to go against the current, which is not fun. So think about those times in your life when you maybe felt like you were resisting something, or maybe something you might be resisting lately that feels a bit like you're going against the current, you're going upstream. And then maybe think about times where you started to release the resistance, come to a deeper level of what we call radical acceptance, right? We don't agree with it, we don't like it, but it is what it is. And that might feel like you're crossing the stream, you're going against the current, right? And so whatever is behind you is kicking out and you're steering this way. So sometimes we might be even not going straight across, but flowing sideways at times. There's a bit of release that comes with fluidity where we can't work so hard against it. It's sometimes we just have to let the current take us. And there's times that too, once we come to that deeper radical acceptance, that the current is able to guide us. And that might be where we feel like we're in flow. We don't need to control it all. We don't need to work so hard. We can look for those windows of opportunity. And that is certainly my experience with sailing. I've got 2 little sunfish boats, and I go where the wind is going to take me. And there's times where I can steer, but I can certainly tell when I'm fighting my boat, when I'm fighting the sail. And then there's always this moment of relinquishment of, okay, I just need to go the direction the boat wants to go right now, even though I've got my eyes set for our pier and I'm trying to get back home. So maybe think about those times in your life and what it means for you when you feel like you're in flow. What happens to the body? What happens to the mind? What even happens to your breath? And so think about this, right? Like your breath. Are there times where your breath has felt choppy? Just like the water, the waves, you know, those choppy waves, they're short and rapid. Okay. Maybe during a storm, but during the storms in our life, I'm like, oh, I just can't catch my breath. It just keeps coming. There was times after my mom's death and after my divorce where grief just felt like this giant wave that would wash over me. And it was scary sometimes. It felt like it was going to pull me out to sea, right? So sometimes emotions can really affect our breath. And where we hold the breath, we constrict the breath. We're not letting the breath flow. And then when we focus on the breath, right, how it starts to become more smooth, more even, more deep. So if you think about the surface of a lake, right, and as the storm passes, and then, or early in the morning, it's like glass. And you can tell how cool the waters are, how deep. So notice the breath here as you sink the weight of your body deeper into the chair and release and relax, feeling the flow of our time together. And observe the breath as you let it become more still, right? As the inhale becomes deeper, the exhale becomes longer. And ensuring that you're using that diaphragmatic breath. So on the exhale, you're hugging the navel center towards the spine. So we're getting those lungs up into the rib cage using that diaphragm. And then when you're ready to inhale, just release the effort and let the belly balloon. So now the diaphragm is dropped out of the rib cage and the lungs have this opportunity to come out of that bony cage and expand. And then when you're ready to exhale, bring in the gentle effort and hug the navel center in gently, gently. Breathing out through the nostrils if you can. And then when you're ready, you can release that effort and inhale. And do this a couple of times, stilling the breath, the waters of the breath. And ultimately, our breath is connected with the mind. As the breath calms, as it becomes more fluid and smooth, so does the mind. So can your thoughts, can your mind start to feel like that glass mirror-like surface of a lake? Let's just take a few more moments here to go through maybe 4 or 5 more breath cycles. And what I'd like you to do here is as you connect with your breath, you're developing this self-awareness of what the breath is telling you, right? When the breath is telling you you're under stress, when the breath is telling you things are okay in this radical moment, nobody needs anything from you. Or if they do, they can wait. Sink in a little bit deeper. Listen to your body. Listen to what it needs. Maybe for these last couple of breaths, bring your tongue to where the roof of the mouth and your gum line meets the teeth. Just gently. You don't have to press too hard. And bring the awareness to your nostrils and breathe in. And notice which nostril is dominant. There's actually a connection between each nostril and the different parts of your nervous system, the sympathetic, the active state, and the parasympathetic, the relaxed state. And notice which nostril, if there is one, that's less dominant. And bring awareness to that nostril. You don't have to block anything or change your stance. Just bring conscious awareness to that side of that nostril that's not taking in as much air. And then if you're able to, as long as you don't have a cold, if you notice that side opening up, then go ahead and breathe evenly through both nostrils, balancing out your nervous system. Letting that flow of breath come in unobstructed. Your belly might even feel like the waves of the ocean going up and down. Good. One more breath cycle. And then as you bring your awareness to your breath, let's come into our body. We're going to transition into some chair stretches and our chair yoga. That's all, it's just body movement. And feel the awareness of your body in the chair, your feet on the floor. And maybe rub your hands together if your eyes are still closed. You can always be gentle as you open the eyes. So it can be nice to bring your palms over your face and blink a little bit to let the sunlight in before fully joining. And we're going to start today with our wrists. So go ahead and start to do some wrist rotations, bringing that fluid motion into our joints, reverse direction. And then let's give some love to our fingers where we can roll them open and closed. And you might even combine that with some wrist rolls and then challenge yourself in reverse direction. Good. And then we're going to bring our hands down, and I'm going to scoot back so that you all can see me a little bit better. And you might want to scoot away from your desk or where, so that you can come to the top of your seat. We're going to sweep our arms up on the inhale. And when we get to the top of the inhale, our hands, our fingertips are reaching up. And on the exhale, we're going to try to match our movement with the breath. So as our hands come down, hopefully our arms come down to our sides at the same time we come to the end of our breath. And now sweep up again. Really full breath. Exhale, release. And then this next time that we reach up, we're going to bend at the elbows and bring our fingertips to opposite shoulder. So here, I want you to anchor through your sits bones and try to stitch the front ribs together. So you're not bringing the belly forward and the tailbone out. We want the tailbone as much as possible pointing down, the navel center aligned with the rib cage and the shoulders. Good. And now let's gently bend over to the right side, opening up the left ribs, creating space between them. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale over to the left. You might use that left foot to stabilize yourself. That right hip, that right sits bones really comes down as you reach that right elbow up. And open up through the right side body. Coming back to center. Now let's extend our arms and interlace the fingers, pressing the palms up. Again, be aware, bring self-awareness to your torso. Where's your tailbone? Your abs, are you hugging? Really activating the abdominals, stitching the front ribs together, reaching through the crown of the head. And then we're going to side stretch again. So really use that left sit bone as you come over to the right. Breathe. Inhale up. And exhale over to the left. You can look forward. You can bring your chin towards your armpit. You could look up. Whatever you feel like the neck needs right now. And then come back to center. And now you can rotate the wrists as you release the arms down by your side. You can do some shoulder rolls. And reversing direction. Good. Now we're going to bring the hands to heart center. Thumbs come towards the sternum. You can even bow gently down towards your fingertips, taking a moment here to ground yourself again. We call this mountain pose, where you feel the sturdiness, the rootedness through your feet, through your sits bones. You're finding length through the spinal column, through the back of the neck, lifting through the crown of the head, releasing the jaw, releasing the forehead and temples. And then as we exhale, I want you to point your fingers forward and exhale, curve the back. So the spinal column is rounding towards the back of your chair. And then when you're ready to inhale, sweep your arms up, bend the elbows, squeeze between the shoulder blades, and move with your breath here. So on the exhale, the hands come together, or palms come together. You reach forward. On the exhale, sweeping as if you're doing the breaststroke. Okay. And so here we've got the cat-cow going on that we do each month to really warm up the spine and open up the space between the shoulder blades, and then really rinsing the tension away from the upper back as we come into the exhale. And you might even imagine yourself with water pushing, feeling that resistance as you push the water away. Then coming back to center, you might need to scoot back. I'm going to scoot back into my chair because we're going to lift our legs off the floor. Let your ankles be loose and just kick the feet as if you're floating and you're trying to kick to get somewhere. Good. You can stay here, and if you want to do a little bit of abdominal work, you could scissor the legs back and forth, opening and then crisscrossing ankles, switching which one comes on top and under. If that's not comfortable for you, ground the left foot, and we're just going to do some ankle rotations here. So it's so necessary to bring loving attention to our joints, moving them, really lubricating them. Good. So if you're doing the scissor legs, you might go up and down now. And those of you who have a foot grounded, we're going to switch sides. The right foot comes down, the left extends, and we do those ankle rotations. Reversing. Good. And then all of us bring both feet to the ground. We're going to bring our hands to our shoulders and do a few shoulder circles. You can make them little if you want, or as big as you want. Reverse direction. Engage those abdominals. Really hug that core. Root through the sits bones. Bringing the shoulders out, we're going to come into a twist. So the right elbow is going to come towards either between the legs, or you can engage the navel center even more, hug it in, and see if you can come into a deeper twist. That right elbow might even come to the outside of the left thigh or on top of the left thigh. And we're going to reach that left elbow behind you. So we're twisting from the middle of the back. The crown of the head is reaching forward, and we're breathing. And find ease in this pose. Find the fluidity, the flow of the breath. Let it calm, let it center. Maybe even bring your chin to the shoulder and look behind you. Then rooting through the feet, rooting through the sits bones, come back up to center and do some shoulder rolls. Reverse direction. Extending through the elbows, hug that navel center in and twist from the navel center. And then bring that left elbow either between the legs, where it can even grip against the inner left thigh, or to the outside of the right thigh. Reach the right elbow back, hug the navel center in even deeper, reach the crown of the head forward, and breathe. Stay here a few breath cycles so the breath can become more fluid again. Bring in body awareness. Where are areas that you can release? Maybe where are some layers within the abdominals, within the core, that you can activate to help you twist a little bit deeper. Maybe bringing your chin towards your shoulder, looking behind you. And coming back to center. Reach the elbows up. Bring them down towards the sides of the body. And the hands come to your lap. And just sink back into your chair. Drink in the nectar of all that good circulation, right? As we relax the muscles, the blood vessels are able to open up. We get better blood flow, so we might even feel a little tingly right now. Connect with the breath. Connect with that sense of fluidity. Got a want to share with you, and I hope you can't hear all the construction going on outside my window right now. So this is a poem called Stay Wild, and I'm going to guess at the pronunciation of the author's name, Ms. Moem. You were not born a statue, nor rooted like a tree. You were born a wild one, a spirit pure and free. No cage should hold you captive. No title should define. You are flexible and fluid, so can change at any time. With nothing set in stone and so much to explore, wander down a million paths and rattle every door. Never stop adventuring. Embrace your inner child. Stay fearless and stay curious. Stay positive. Stay wild. So taking a few moments here, maybe reflecting on the words or the phrases that stood out to you in that poem. Giving you yourself a few more moments as we bring our time together to a close. You can start to open your eyes if they're still closed. Maybe look at the image of that babbling creek, and maybe reminisce if you've had experiences as an adult or a child of hopping across the rocks, across a stream. You're fishing in a stream, and just hearing that water gurgle, the water wash over the rocks. And feel how this sense of relaxation just washes over you. And with that, for those of you collecting wellness points, the keyword for today is fluid. And I've included our contact information. Our phone number is a great way to reach us. My colleagues are counselors who answer the phone, either to help you set up an appointment, or if you have any questions, if you need to consult about a personal issue or a professional issue, feel free to call us. You can also email us at eap@ascension.org. And again, you can find our presentations and previous recordings on our YouTube page. If you search up Ascension, Wisconsin, EAP. And again, our website, doing a Google search, Ascension, Wisconsin, EAP, will bring up our website. So I appreciate you all. I'm super happy that you protected this time for yourself and took this time to participate so that you'll have a better sense of well-being for the rest of your day. And I encourage you, with whatever came forward for you today in a positive way, that you find a way to carry that into the rest of your afternoon and evening. And until then, I will see you next month for our September R&R. So until then, be well.